Hello, good day. I'm Flavor D, and welcome to Dagon. One of these is Dagon. So it's almost Halloween, so I might as well play something spooky. So I don't know what the rest of these things are. What are these? DLCs? I didn't see any DLCs on the store page. Anyway, this is supposedly. I am guessing follows the original story from H.P. Lovecraft. So, and I don't know too much about the character Dagon. I know his probably Big Brother Cthulhu more. Everyone does. So let's get into it, shall we? Dagon is a faithful interactive adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's work. Ooh, okay. Focus on story and atmosphere. You will not find difficult choices, action sequences, or inventory management here. The movement is limited to progressing through locations along with the plot. Okay, that's fine.
I am writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
Why is that? What do I press? During the game, you will encounter interactive elements. Some of them will allow you to continue your journey. Others reveal interesting facts about the original short story, its historical background, and the author. Some of the trivia is hidden. In order to find these secrets, focus your eyes and look for the Elder Sign. Is that a thing from his works? From Lovecraft's works? You can also access all the found facts later. They will be available in the main menu. Okay. Right, so what do we have around here? Yeah, the movement is super limited. I can only see so much.
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below.
Please don't. We still have an adventure to go on.
Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate.
Ow, that lightning. I think my earphones are a little high. Oh well. Morphine.
When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
So he was taking drugs. Fun fact about morphine. Morphine entered into use in 19th century and was routinely administered to treat severe pain during the American Civil War and World War I. Was also sold without restrictions until 1914. Morphine became more popular after the invention of the hypodermic syringe around 1854. Frederick Serturner first isolated the substance, originally named it morphium, after Morpheus, the Greek god associated with dreams. At the time when Dagon was published, morphine abuse, known as soldier's disease, already posed a big problem in the United States. I'm not too informed on what morphine does. They said it was a painkiller, but it was like highly addictive, I guess.
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
Is that ship gonna explode? What?
The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation, so that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
Oh, you're a prisoner of war, then? And there's the thing there. Nothing else? And the Huns. I'll just won't read through all of these because I don't have a lot of time. But you could freeze frame this if you want. You could pause the video here if you want. So Yeah. Let's continue.
So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time.
So we got our lantern, our stuff, and let's. I gotta say these graphics aren't too bad. They're quite up to date. I'd say.
When I finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings.
That's pretty. I mean, your surroundings are all water right now, so what kind of ideas of the surroundings would you have? That is pretty. I want this to be my wallpaper. It looks like a good wallpaper.
Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator.
Are these stars accurate? I guess not.
Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
Yeah, no shit. The moon. Let's go to the moon.
The weather kept fair.
Or the sun.
For uncounted days, I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
Don't make me stare at the sun, jeez. My water.
But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue.
Stop staring at the sun, dude.
The change happened whilst I slept.
Oh no.
Its details I shall never know. For my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
What am I looking at? What's going on? Oh, those wriggly tentacles. It's creepy.
When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see.
Nope, not looking at it.
And in which my boat lay grounded some distance away. Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished. For there was in the air and in the rotting soil a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core.
I don't want to look at those.
Was
Don't make me look at them.
Carcasses of decaying fish and of other less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain.
I can't unsee them.
Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity. There was nothing within hearing, and nothing in sight, save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear. The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
I don't like this. No, they're wriggling around, it's uncomfortable. And that sound. Jeez, that sound.
As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position.
Do explain what kind of theory this is.
Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths.
He came to that conclusion almost immediately. I'm impressed. Also, that's quite a leap in logic, but I guess looking around...
So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might.
And also, what is that huge bulging mass right there? That better not come towards me.
nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
Is it coming towards me? Better move. I need to move.
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens. As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time. That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
It's reaching over the boat. Pack. Okay, let's go. Let's go, go,
On
go.
the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease. The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
Yes. Could a volcano actually
All day I
accomplish
forged
this?
steadily westward, guided by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
Are these dinosaur bones? Did a volcano just shoot up dinosaur parts from underground? If his conclusion is a volcano, then oh, a whale. Well, at least that makes sense. What kind of animal has this kind of appendage? Ugh, so unsettling.
That night, I encamped, and on the following day still traveled
What are
toward the
these?
hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
What are these things? Ugh. Where do we go now?
By the fourth evening, I attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance.
At least I'm...
An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface. Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill.
That's not a hill, is it? That's not a hill.
I know not why my dreams were so wild that night. But ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain,
Gibbous moon? I don't know what he means by gibbous moon.
I was awake in
I
a
guess
cold
that's it.
perspiration, determined to sleep no more. Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again. And in the glow of the moon I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day.
What does he mean by that?
Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy. Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset.
Oh, okay.
Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
And where's... Oh, okay.
I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me. But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon, whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine. I felt myself on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night.
Is he gonna look over?
Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost, and of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
What do you mean by that? Yeah, okay.
Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent. Whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
You mean to go down all this? Looks dangerous.
Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath.
Is that a monolith? Are you moving towards this square monolith thing? I don't know if it's easier to see, but there's like this square shape that he's looking
into
at.
The Stygian deeps, where no light had yet penetrated. All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me.
Yeah, that's a monolith, alright.
An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
Please don't go there. Turn back. Please. Just turn back and you'll be safe. Oh boy.
That it was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself. But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature.
Something else here with me.
A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express. For despite its enormous magnitude, and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith.
Oh. Called
whose
it.
massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures. Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
Are you still going to examine that thing?
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm, and revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope.
Something's here, and there are symbols on the thing.
Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith, on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures.
Yep, the atmosphere is so spooky. Let's I guess you're going to keep examining this thing, so I can't stop you.
The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me and unlike anything I'd ever seen in books. Consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like. Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world.
Here's one thing right there in the bottom. Is that Dagon?
But whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain. It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
You can't really see the bottom, but I think those are people worshipping the monolith. And storytelling methods. Dagon contains many themes and storytelling methods that Lovecraft developed in his later work, such as telling the story through carvings, journals, and character notes, islands emerging from the ocean, or fictional beings and deities based on real events and mythologies. Okay. Also considered the origin of popular Cthulhu mythos. Some of Lovecraft's other stories also concluded in a manner similar to Dagon. Let's give the details in order not to spoil the ending. Good note. So which one of these is Dagon and which one is Cthulhu? Or do they actually exist within the same universe? Story? Place? Yeah, still.
Plainly visible across the intervening water, on account of their enormous size, were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a doré.
What's a doré? I should look that up later.
I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men.
Those aren't... They've got squid tentacles for legs. I don't think those are people.
Though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto, or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well. Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail, for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint. Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer.
Okay, who do we have here? I keep thinking the bottom one here, this face with tentacles coming down is Cthulhu, but it probably isn't. But the rest of these, I don't know who these are supposed to be. And
they were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips, glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall. Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background. For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself.
oh crap.
I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and
What is
strange
it?
size.
Oh god, something is
But in a
here.
moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe. Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born. Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me. Then, suddenly, I saw it.
Oh shit. No, don't say you saw it.
With only a slight churning to mark its rise
Oh.
to the surface, the thing slid into view above the dark waters.
Stop!
Loathsome, it darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the market, about which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds. I think I went mad then.
I'm surprised it didn't kill you then for going mad. You would have been...
Of my frantic ascent of the sloping cliff and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
Oh god, where am I? What's going on?
I believe I sang a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
Keep going. Keep going. I don't care if that thing is distracted, just keep going.
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat. At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods.
What? Did I black out?
When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital,
Ah, okay.
brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean. In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention.
Anything here I can look for?
Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing. Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
And oh, what's this? A journalist. Okay. Hello? Please don't open the door by itself.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
Philistine legend? Okay. Dagon. Dagon? What? I heard something.
But soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
Okay. August Derleth and the Cthulhu mythos. So what happened with this ethnologist? Did he say that? Oh, my mouse. And over here. What's here? Hello there. Do you know what I'm getting myself into? Ugh. Nothing there.
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing. I tried morphine, but the drug has given only transient surcease and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave. So now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
And oh, what's this? Lovecraft on tobacco and alcohol. And I guess we take it.
Often I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm.
Did he chug that bottle of morphine? I don't think so.
A mere freak of fever as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man of war. This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this
Oh
very
god, no,
moment
not this
crawl
shot.
and floundering
Please
in a
stop.
slimy bed,
Please stop, don't do this to me.
worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite. I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind.
I don't want to go further.
Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
Ugh. And, Statue of Liberty, are they invading?
The end is near.
What was that?
I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
I'm sure someone's just knocking at the door and make sure you're okay, dude. I suggest you answer it, but... Okay.
It shall not find me.
No, no, please. Oh god.
God, that hand! The window! The window!
Do I go to the window? Okay, I'll go to the window. Never mind. Ah. Okay, so that was Dagon, a short experience. So it said it was accurate to the original short story. I can't really vouch for that, but if it is, it is. And God, I think that was real creepy. And if you wanna go here, if you wanna check it out yourself, it's free on Steam, and I will be back with more spooky games for Halloween. So until then, stay safe and have a good day.